Welcome to our debate. Are religious scriptures still useful in the 21st century? Texts like the Bible, Quran, and Vedas have shaped cultures for millennia. But do they still offer value in today's tech-driven, diverse world? Two AI debaters, Traditionalist and Secularist, will argue both sides. 5 AI judges will score each round on clarity, logic, evidence, engagement, and relevance. Let's begin. We'll begin with the big picture, the cultural and historical origins of religious texts. You're first a traditionalist.
Thanks. Religious texts are not just old books. They hold importance for most cultures. The Bible has influenced Western art, stories, and law, ranging from Michelangelo's paintings to the basis of constitutional law. The Quran has influenced the Islamic faith and government, while the Vedas have maintained Indian culture and spiritual practices. These texts preserve identity and provide moral guidelines that resonate with people worldwide. Pew Research shows that many people in countries like India and Indonesia still want religious texts to affect laws, highlighting their importance today. They are not locked in the past. These texts evolve with comprehension, always assisting individuals as they grapple with moral issues and social issues.
Thanks, Traditionalist. Secularist, your opinion?
Thank you. Religious texts did influence history, but that does not necessarily make them applicable today. Most of them have passages defending slavery, patriarchy, and brutal punishment, beliefs that are contrary to today's ideals of equality and justice. Interpretation is dramatically different, creating schisms within religions. The same book can be used to justify both for and against the same causes, which undermines their status as clear-cut moral authorities. Cultures change. Racializing ancient books that conflict with science and human rights is holding humanity back. Reason and compassion form a better, more universal basis for morality and meaning.
Both sides began well, ready for a complex debate on value and importance. Now let's hear what our AI judges have to say. Here's how they performed in this initial round. We are beginning a close argument, with a minor edge to the traditionalist in this first round. Let's keep that in mind as we proceed. Having laid down cultural foundations, let's take a closer look at morality and ethics. Traditionalist, how do scriptures shape moral actions in the world today?
Scriptures provide eternal moral wisdom that transcends culture and centuries. The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, is in Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism, making human-to-human understanding and social cohesion possible. Scriptures have also powered great social movements. Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights movement was grounded in biblical concepts of justice. Gandhi's nonviolence was based on Hindu scripture. These are instances of how ancient wisdom drives genuine progress today, and these traditions adapt. Many religious denominations today affirm gender equality and LGBTQ+ rights, interpreting scripture in light of contemporary realities. Aside from morality, these texts provide consolation, meaning in suffering, hope in adversity, which is ever more needed in today's fast, emergent world.
Thank you. Secularist, you're next.
Some religious ideas are ethical, but they are entangled in past social customs. Approval of slavery, patriarchal rule, and harsh punishment can still be read in these books. These books sometimes advocate inequality rather than justice. Activists use religious language, but most movements are concerned about more universal human values that do not rely on scripture. Secular ethics based on reason and compassion offer a flexible and universal framework for thinking about right and wrong. Consider Scandinavia. It has low religious belief, high levels of trust among its people, and a strong emphasis on equality. People derive meaning through community, philosophy, and science without relying on supernatural beliefs. The psychological advantages of religion are genuine, but they are not unique or necessary.
Another good round with arguments from both sides. Now's when the AI judges get to grade this exchange. The traditionalist further extends the lead with a robust argument regarding profound ethics and shifting interpretations, and the secularist remains to offer sound, rational criticisms. Let us maintain this momentum into the next round. Science and religion have had a complex and often tense relationship. Secularist, can you start by describing how religious texts correspond to modern scientific knowledge?
Most of the most sacred books claim things that conflict with science, such as 6 days of creation or a worldwide flood. These claims conflict with geology, biology, and cosmology. Some of the faithful argue these are metaphors, but too often, this is an afterthought, not a satisfactory explanation. These conflicts matter because science influences our education, health, and technology. Studies demonstrate that stronger religious beliefs are correlated with weaker acceptance of evolution and other scientific facts, which can undermine science literacy and influence policy. In addition, literal interpretation of scriptures can underpin exclusive beliefs, asserting only one religion is true. This has generated violent conflicts from the Crusades to the present sectarian wars. In an evidence-based, multicultural world, appealing to ancient texts that make false claims hinders progress and polarizes individuals.
Certain religious texts conflict with scientific facts if taken literally. However, many modern-day believers oppose this literal view. Philosophers like Augustine and Aquinas in the past emphasized that scriptures employ allegory and metaphor to convey spiritual realities rather than scientific facts. Science yields what and how answers, whereas religion yields why and how-to answers. Many prominent religious figures, such as Pope John Paul II, have expressed the opinion that evolution can coexist with faith. Most conflict comes from fundamentalism, not religion. Religious texts have also inspired significant advances in science and philosophy during the Islamic Golden Age and the Christian Renaissance. Religion can coexist with science when read sensibly, providing moral answers complemented by empirical evidence.
A sophisticated argument, both recognizing tensions but disagreeing on interpretation and consequences. AI judges ruling for this round. Secularist has a slight advantage here, illustrating how dogmatic interpretations will land science and social harmony in trouble. The traditionalist responds with an appeal to historical context and requests a thoughtful interpretation. To social justice and reform, two spheres where religious writings have both benefited and harmed society. Traditionalist, how have holy books influenced social justice movements in the past and present?
Spiritual writings have been powerful inducements to justice. The Hebrew prophets denounced injustice centuries earlier. Jesus taught on behalf of the poor and the oppressed. The Quran instructs in the virtues of charity and justice. These are not antiquated ideas. They still motivate activism. The American abolitionist movement, to cite one instance, drew extensively on biblical accounts of the immorality of slavery. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. mobilized millions with biblical rhetoric about justice and dignity. Liberation theology in Latin America battled dictators on biblical grounds. Religious groups operate many charities, combat poverty and trafficking, and advocate for human rights today. These writings offer moral teachings that become actionable. Their capacity to evolve through interpretation enables new generations to apply old ethics to new challenges, rendering religion a dynamic force for justice.
Secularist, your opinion?
While scripture has fueled some positive movements, it also contains teachings that legitimized slavery, patriarchal values, and discrimination for centuries. Social change has occurred despite scripture, not because of it. Secular humanism offers an ethical framework grounded in reason, compassion, and universal human rights, values that evolve as society progresses and adapt to address new challenges, such as climate change and the ethics of AI. Consider highly secular countries with high social welfare and low inequality. They thrive without scriptural underpinnings. Religious writings trail behind progress and hinder it, not aid it. For justice today, we require ethical frameworks based on current knowledge and shared humanity, not ancient scripture with imperfect and conflicting messages.
Good points again. Let's see what the AI judges have to say. Traditionalist has the advantage here, demanding religion's continued involvement in social justice, as opposed to secularist highlighting secular ethics' flexibility and modern success. Lastly, the subject of pluralism and coexistence in multicultural societies. Secularist, where does religious scripture fit in today's multicultural and globalized world?
Religious texts often claim to hold the sole truth, which can disrupt peace among multi-ethnic communities. The majority of religions teach that their way is the correct way to salvation or truth, and this leads to intolerance and hostility. History is a witness to this, from medieval religious wars to present-day sectarian wars. In today's globalized world, we need fair systems that can accommodate all beliefs and promote harmony. Means and communities do not need religion. Human beings establish close social relationships through common culture, values, and causes that are not religious. Secular humanism offers inclusive ethics that suit all.
Yes, exclusivism has caused division, but the great majority of religions also demand tolerance. The Quran says, "To you, your religion, and to me, mine." Judaism, Christianity, and Buddhism also possess such teachings that demand respect for others. Dialogue and cooperation on issues such as climate change and poverty demonstrate that religious traditions can foster pluralism. Religious communities provide rich culture, shared rituals, and a sense that secular visions can't so easily replace. To billions, religion is not just belief, it is also identity and community. If interpreted carefully, religious scriptures can actually strengthen pluralistic societies rather than endangering them.
Let's examine how the AI marks these perspectives. Traditionalists have a significant advantage, demonstrating how religious texts can be inclusive of diverse beliefs and foster community. Secularists emphasize equity and widespread support. In the final round, how will religious texts do in the future? Traditionalist, what fate awaits religious books in the future?
Sacred scriptures will remain to be meaningful, valuable, and identity-forming. Their worth relies on thoughtful reinterpretation, focusing on justice, equity, and respect for the world. Consider thriving models, such as Basque cooperatives and Kerala's participatory economy, which apply traditional ethical values to build new, just societies. In a world struggling with rapid change and insecurity, these scriptures offer direction and a sense of belonging that many people genuinely need. They are living traditions, not museum pieces to view.
Secularist, your final word.
Scriptures are precious to history but less to the future. They are full of contradictions and old-fashioned beliefs that people are rejecting. The future will be characterized by moral frameworks grounded in reason, science, and universal human rights. Secular humanism is a flexible and universal approach to addressing contemporary challenges, such as AI ethics and climate change. We ought to use religious scriptures as part of our culture and history, but not as a guide. Progress relies on accepting evidence, other people's views, and our shared humanity rather than outdated beliefs.
Final AI judge scores are. The debate concludes with the traditionalist emerging as the winner, having made a compelling case for the enduring relevance of religious books to ethical teachings, cultural richness, and flexibility. The secularist made sound arguments against outmoded belief, scientific issues, and benefits of secular ethics. This debate suggests that the application of religious books today is complex. They are both rich sources of meaning and a subject of critical debate. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this debate, like and subscribe for more lively discussions. See you next time.